Hello everybody and welcome back to Reaper Pro Tips with me, your host and Disembodied Hands, Quindy and Justin and John when they deem to show up. It's been a rough morning. It's rainy here. You'll probably hear it during the stream. Kiki didn't get much of a walk. There was much dingoing. No, Crowley, the cat in the tree is taking over the dragon's rotation, the dragon pokey tool rotation. So it's not just one that I'm just going to work on every stream. It's got its own place in the rotation. Hold on. I missed a bunch of chat because I was busy with the dingo kiki. Quindy, you do not get the repeat. Neither does Crowley. You got your song already. I don't want the small cat to be crazy. Yeah, yes, I did ask for that rain. I'm happy. David didn't want to take Kiki for her full walk. I'm going to take Kiki for her walk when it comes to me. I was going to put on my waterproof shoes and my raincoat and be gone. Rax at tier 1 for 32 months. Thank you. Yay, actual house. Well, grats, man. Grats. Hello, Epic. Good morning. It is a morning. I love rainy days, so for me it's a very good morning. Though, yeah, the Kiki's going to be indoor pup today. So we'll see how that goes. As long as you've got waterproof shoes, it is fun walking in the rain. As long as you're not, like, totally getting rained on. But we definitely, like, need the rain. Alright, I see. I started bringing up some stone texture last time. Right, I see it. It's like there on the back. We were playing around back there. All right. Well then, I need stone gray, brown liner, and a little bit of more brown for the earth, which is nut brown and griffin golden brown. There we are. Purple and teal. Purple and teal is a very long-standing mini painting tradition palette. In 2002, my friend Jennifer Haley won 2 Golden Demons. Both of them were painted purple and teal, and it was just a color scheme that she was stuck on for a long time, and she was one of the more famous painters in the world at that point. So purple and teal became kind of an honorary, the cult of purple and teal became kind of an honorary thing. I think I want the brown over here. Like, it became a definite thing for mini painters. Yeah, I thought about, like, putting the Necromancer out of rotation, but I'd like to finish him, so... So I want to get my brown mixed up real quick. I want to grab my gray and my brown liner. The brown was actually pretty complicated. But you can use, just use any old brown. I could use shield brown, I'd be fine. Oh, there's the rain. Yeah, we can just do the Nightmare Before Christmas, right? I could paint a little Christmas tree on the tombstone. Alright, let's get some stone gray, because it is actually a great stone color, and it's what I use it for. Actually, I was just going to have the tombstone say meow or something. I don't know. I did not actually think about putting anything on the tombstone. I was not to that stage. Usually that's something I would brainstorm at the end. Stone gray. And then I had stone gray and brown liner. And some brown liner. And then some brown liner. And a little more brown liner. You know how it goes with me. That might work, Quindy. Oh, the skeletal kitty could get a little red reindeer nose. Aw, but nobody get it after the fact. That's the problem. It would be cute for the stream, but then you know, if this went to the Reaper gallery, everybody would be like, why is this a Christmas Halloween figure? Why does the kitty have red on his nose? Did they forget to clean it off? Some people would just not get it. Karen Stone is our last color. Also a stone color. The only way you're going to get a pint-sized bottle is to, like, you know, talk to Anne if they let me in the paint department again. But then, you know, it'd be pretty expensive. A pint-sized bottle of brown liner, that would be, let's see, that would be about 60 to 65 bottles at, what, $4 a bottle? I don't remember what we're charging anymore. It would be a bit of money. Let's just say that would be a bit of money. Like $250. Yeah, well, they've done that forever, Quindy, so I guess I'm, you know, cool. That's assuming, although technically, I guess it depends. Like, if they had to bottle it, they'd have to charge. I don't know. This is all hypothetical. Sadly, the man who could have made this happen has passed away. I don't think we're going to get pint-sized brown liner now that Ed is gone. Ed might have done it just to mess with people. Alrighty. Just out of practice, Kodiak. Yeah, the TSA would not want you to bring a pint of paint home. And just move down the row as usual, putting a little bit of the previous color into, man, this rain. This rain, folks. A little bit of the previous color into the next color. Kiki woke me up early this morning because she was fussing around. So I was woken up at like almost an hour before our actual wake-up time. I am a bit tired and grouchy. It's the Keeker. Yes, that's true. If you were going to do that to Maldrakar. I don't know that I would use that technique on Mal just because. Alrighty. Got a whole bunch of pretty colors here. Here's our pretty stone colors. The brown is more for getting the earthworks, and I'm going to mute it out a lot. But I'm going to keep it a little more gray. I'm going to keep it pretty dark because then essentially I'm mixing the cairnstone into it to make the colors. Yeah, we got some serious rain. I mean, we go weeks without it, and then we get like, now we're getting dumped on. So that's good for our plants, though. All the happy trees that are, well, all the trees will have dropped their leaves after this. Like, they were already dropping the leaves really fast, and now this is going to pummel the leaves out of them. So when I go on the walk, it'll probably be a lot of winter-looking trees. They're just making it look more like December. Foxes are cute. I did not know they were also loud, but now I do. Ring ding ding, every ding ding ding. I'm just going to bring in some of this brown, stippling it as a base coat wherever I've got earthworks here where the stones have fallen and some dirt is showing through. Let's me break up all the stonework. Yeah, I mean, it does spread. You are thinning it, right? So, and you do get like 400 drops in a bottle of brown liner, so I would imagine. I thought Kiki would sleep with the rain, but she is out there squeaking her squeaky toy. So Bridget, Kiki's breeder, is taking a dog behavior course right now, which I would have taken with her, but I was already so overtaxed, there's no way I could have. But interestingly enough, we talk about dogs that are high drive all the time, but this trainer, who's pretty renowned as far as like her training behaviorist talks she gives, she says she essentially doesn't think drive is its own thing. She doesn't think it's measurable. What she thinks it is a combination of energy level and arousal. And arousal is like, how long does it take your dog to like get ramped up, right? When your dog is like calm, and then he starts to get ramped up, and then as things happen, he gets more and more excited or crazy or whatever. So like that's arousal. Kiki has such a high arousal, she like goes from 0 to like 11 on a scale of 1 to 10 in like a second. She's crazy high on that. Like she really has a hard time with self-control, and with scaling down. So what that essentially means, because she's got a moderate energy level, she's a higher drive dog. She's sadly not what I really wanted, but you get what you get. That's why Bridget's taking this class. She wants to essentially be able to spot this stuff better in our litters, which is way cool. Because some of this stuff is pretty nuanced, and it's hard to spot in an 8-week-old puppy, especially when you're trying to judge how high energy the puppy is, but the puppy's been playing with its siblings all day long, right? It's not in a normal home environment, so it's really hard to assess. There are some games that you are supposed to be able to play, Dogfather, that help train your pup to regulate their arousal, and I'm going to be reading a thing on that after the stream, probably while I'm eating lunch. And essentially there are games that essentially do just that. They will rev up your dog a little and then teach them to calm down. So I'll share with you what I learned. Because Keekster needs to do this. She needs to figure out, like, she needs to learn how to dial down. Because she gets, like, so excited and so over the top sometimes. Yeah, because, I mean, they're not going to learn to regulate themselves, right? They need our help to kind of, like, go in that direction. So the Keekster is improved, but she's still, like, if she gets to actually greet another dog on our walks, she is, like, crazy. Like, she wants to play so bad, she's just, like, running around and jumping around at running, like, from one side to the other, hitting the end of the leash, bouncing back. She's insane. She just can't, like, regulate. So doing a little bit of cairnstone mixed with my browns now to bring out the texture here. Oh, sorry, I totally didn't see that question. Yes, the skeletal cat is from Dark Sword Miniatures. The tombstone's a generic one from a company that was at ReaperCon. I don't remember the company off the top of my head, but lots of companies make little tombstones these days. And then the cat mage is Reaper. The cat mage is that item number. And this, yeah, the skeletal cat is from Dark Star Miniatures, and they do like a 3-pack of them. Oh yeah, Dark Sword is not sending to the UK. Is that true? Yeah. I didn't know that, but I just thought the Necromancer would summon an army of undead kiddos. So that's why we went with the kiddo. Yeah, we started this figure for Halloween. The problem with having the rotation that I've got is that unless I decide to just throw the rotation up in the air, we tend not to finish the seasonal stuff quite on time. But I also decided to do a big base on this, and that's why it's not done. Yeah, it's definitely an arousal thing then, Dogfather. I mean, but you're going to have to work with him separate from his siblings probably for a bit. That's the thing. That's why I'm kind of happy that even though I've got Kiki, I've got this dog, and she's definitely a work in progress. At least I can make some separate time for her because she's a lonely dog at this point. And I may enroll her with a local trainer as well, just because, you know, doing stuff in our house is all well and good, but she needs to be good in different places also. So I kind of believe in the whole going to a trainer thing for proofing and for just to get another set of eyeballs on the dog, right? Because yeah, Keekster is way over the top. She was way too much for the dogs, even at her puppy preschool. For almost all of them. All of them except the German Shepherd. And he only came once. His owner seemed like embarrassed about him, and she didn't bring him back, and I felt sad for her because what he needed was to be brought back, but I think she got too much dog for herself. There we go. So we got some nice brown coming in there. Yeah, especially while he's young, Dogfather, because if you wait until he's a year old, then he's going to have a lot of habits set in. That's why I want to get Kiki. That's why I keep taking her to class. And even though she's an embarrassment, I'm an embarrassment. But you don't want to, yeah, you do want to get him out, that's for sure. So I told David I might walk with him to get his pastry this weekend and take Kiki, because he wants to be able to take her there. But it's a small parking lot that's kind of enclosed by fencing, and it's got a lot of people and also some dogs usually waiting in line and, you know, just being around. And it's a lot of close proximity people, so I wouldn't want David to deal with that himself. I would go instead. Oh, well, then don't put it off any longer. Sounds like he's still very puppy-ish. I mean, essentially start as soon as you can. Like, right? It's never too late, but the longer you wait, the more work it will be. In my experience, just in my experience. I am not an expert. I am not a dog trainer. I've just raised a bunch of different dogs of all different temperament levels and energy levels. But definitely just takes a bit more. Now, the advantage, Dogfather, of starting when he's a little early, you know, because he was rescue, right? So you get a pass anyway. Like, there are lots of people who are starting with their rescues at age, you know, 3, 4, 5, or 9. So just pretty much try to press the reset button and see what you can do. He's still a young dog, so. So we're just doing some light stippling here to bring out the edges of these stones. Let me get a little closer here. But yeah, so a lot of little stippling just to bring kind of a texture to these smoother stones. I put some cracks and irregularities in the ones that I did, and of course this one is directly the cat's base, which I also puttied over a bit. But the stippling helps to give a more subtle granity kind of texture. And I'm using my paint a little bit thinned. It's about, I want to guess it's about a 3-to-1 at this point. Maybe it's a 2-to-1. The thicker, obviously, the more clumpy of a texture you're going to get, and the thinner, the more it's going to be translucent, and it's going to layer up more subtly. But yeah. Definitely putting my dog training hat back on with Keekster. She, Oh, I was saying the advantage of starting with him as he's older is he will have more adult brain cells and he'll be more capable of, like, working with you, Dogfather. Like, when Kiki was little, oh my god, she was just over the top at everything, and there was just, you couldn't get through to her. But as she's gotten older and she's had her adult brain cells kick in, now we've got something to work with, right? So that's the advantage of starting with your pup when he's a bit older, is that at least he's got the adult brain cells. So now, depending on his breed, you may have, you know, work to do, depending on if he really, does he really want to work with you? Like, is he eager to please, would you say, Dogfather? Or is he more kind of doing his own thing kind of dog? Right, yeah, the socialization. So you've set yourself up for some extra work, but you knew you were doing it, so. It's all right. It's just extra work at that point. Yeah, Kiki also does. I think that's a high arousal thing as well, because any little trigger in the environment will pull their attention. So working on focus may be the first thing you want to do, and that's easy. Like, that's an easy train. That's the watch me command. So that's a, you know, holding up a treat, first getting them to sit, assuming your dog knows how to sit, you know, and then giving them a wait or a watch me. And if they break the sit, you turn away and you go, sit, until they, and you'll just try to get them to hold it for like a second at first. And you work up to 5 seconds, and you work up to 10 seconds until they're holding focus. It takes time. Kiki can do 5 seconds now, but it's been, you know, I could have worked with her more in focus. I've been working with her more on other tricks, but she does need to work more on focus. But she'll do 5 seconds now, and she'll wait even longer. Like, she's only now, like, I think this morning was the first time she actually sat in her crate and let David put her collar on. Like, before she was just like, whoa, you know. And now, like, just this week, just like a few days ago, she just started sitting to let us clip the leash onto her collar instead of, like, going completely dingo. So, but yeah, I would work on focus first then. And I'd do it alone first, like just take him in the garage or take him apart from your other dogs. Give him individual attention. And first do it without a lot of distractions, somewhere that is not full of distractions. And then work up to very small distractions, like maybe a different room of the house that might have some distracting stuff. Then work up to it with your other dogs around. And you've got to figure out what makes him tick too. So like, is he a treat dog? Is he a, does he love food or does he love toys? Does he want praise more than anything? Yeah, the yard. So he probably is a sniffer, right? He's like, if he's wants the yard. So that just takes work though. Like if his focus falters in the yard, but it just doesn't go straight to Bulhui, I think you just have to work on that then. I mean, it's just always a work in progress, right? That's with Kiki. I'm just like, every week we're a little better. Every week we jump a little less. Every week we bite a little less. But yeah, I need to focus on get Kiki to focus better too. Recall, yeah. That's one, the way I was taught to do recall at the same time as name recognition. Does he know his name? Yeah, you have a puppy brain then, Grey Wolf. You're right on the puppy brain, so pretty much just stippling, guys. Stippling, stippling. We'll talk dogs while we stipple. He does know his name. Will he come when you call it, like as far as the recall goes? Or are you training with the word come instead? I have found that since I adopted the Control Unleashed, like just using the name as the recall, it works better for me. Yeah. So then that would be the thing to work on. Is wherever you see the chain where he gets it kind of, but he's not real consistent. And the thing to do is really what you want to do is turn it into a habit. So with Kiki, we don't use her name a lot. We don't use Kiki a lot. We have nicknames for her, so we normally use those around the house when we're just talking to her. Like Papa. Papa is her one that she knows. But Kiki I've reserved for come, essentially. And I always have a really good treat in my hand or a toy that she loves when I call her, and I try to start really easy, like she's right, like just a few steps from me, and I'll say her voice. I won't say it like right now because she'll get all excited in the other room, but I'll say her name in a really happy voice. A happy voice, like I've got the best thing for you, and when she comes, she gets it right away. The way that we trained it when it was a baby puppy is we did it with the clicker. We rolled a treat just a few feet away from us, so then she would go after the treat because it was moving and it was a treat. And then right when we saw her head start to turn back toward us, we'd click and say her name, and she'd come back and get another treat. And it's just like honestly, just a few feet away at first, and then you just work it a little bit longer. And if you do it and they don't respond, don't do it again right away. Wait, let them kind of reset, maybe move a little closer to them, then do it. Until they start to really associate you calling their name with great stuff. And it's really, you've got to make it a habit. Like a habit that the dog just does it without even thinking about it. And so that does take work, but it's the way to get 100% reliable recall. Or as close as you're ever going to get, right? There's always going to be that one exception. The one scary exception. Yeah, that can sit you. Yeah, hand signals are great because dogs are so good at reading body language. Of course, where those break down is when the dog is not looking at you, right? But yeah, you could do the same thing with come and affiliate it with just the best thing in the world. Just remember to always not expect too much. Start real low threshold, really easy. And what you're trying to do is to build the habit. The habit that when your dog hears that word, they just come to you. Like, or they see that signal, they just come to you. The clicker is really working for us now. Like, for a while there, I was really dubious about the clicker again. But I started using it on walks to indicate to Kiki when she was doing what I wanted, which is walking, without pulling. And it's working. Like, it's starting to really penetrate. Like, I can tell that she knows the clicker means there's a treat. Like, when she's walking nicely and I click, instantly she turns toward me. So she knows there's a treat. It's become habit to her. And once you have that, you can work that. So I'm really thrilled about that because I think I'll be able to use it. I'm going to take my brown liner and just re-etch that crack. I got a little bit I kind of filled it in with my stippling a bit. So I'm going to work, probably do a little bit of wet blending and stippling around there. I've got my crack, I've got my dark gray. I do want to put some dark tones on these stones as well. So I'm going to do kind of a shadow stipple. But yeah, I've learned that. I didn't realize that for much of my dog training career, that the point with the recall is really to make it a habit. So that your dog doesn't even think about it. Because if they don't think about it, they're not going to double think it, right? They're not going to second guess. And once it's that, then you don't have to practice it at any distance at all. You just have to like practice with your dog a few feet from you. I just do it in the backyard. Because the point is that when they hear that word and they hear that click, they just turn. They just come back, right? And the clicker obviously is not good at long distances, so you're relying on the word at that point, but same kind of thing. And that makes sense to me because I'm really into like habits, using habits to kind of streamline my life and make sure I get things done and stuff. So training habits for dogs makes a lot of sense to me because it's the same sort of thing. You want to execute without thinking about it. And dogs are totally creatures of habit, so you can make that work for you in training. Dogs love habits. They love routine. So I'm taking my dark and I'm going in and I'm kind of reshading around these deeper areas where I made the cracks and such so that I can bring out more texture and more flaking in the stone. Yeah, the clicker is interesting, and there's some research behind the clicker as far as like the noise, the particular noise that it makes. So in studies on like the mind states of dogs, like where they actually like hook dogs up to monitor their brain waves and stuff, where when they were using different forms of communication, the clicker was one, words was one. What they found, and not just in dogs, but in other animals as well, as you just pointed out, Korniko, is that the click, the short, sharp sound, doesn't require processing like a word does or a signal does. It actually jumps ahead in like the processing network. So that's why clicker training, when you're trying to really build like a fast reaction or a nuance, clicker training can be very, very effective because your dog doesn't have to stop and sit and think. He doesn't have to stop and think, what does that mean? He just like gets into the sharp click means treat. And he doesn't, like his regular brain doesn't have to, his thinking brain does not have to process that sound. Yeah. Yeah, that sharp, all you need is a sharp noise. Yeah, so a bamboo stick works. Maybe it might be a little harder to carry around if you're going out in the world, but yeah. So any sharp noise like that will work the same way. But that's why the clicker actually works. That's the magic of the clicker. That and the fact that it's such a short, sharp noise that's easy to execute because you've got just a little button to press, so you can click exactly when you want to mark a behavior, which I have not been great at in the past. I'm working on it this time with the Keekster. Yep, clicky pen works too, although it's not quite as loud, so if you're outside, it might be a little harder. But yeah, same thing. For inside cats, I bet clicky pen is fine. Yeah, so loading the clicker, like I was so happy. Like everybody talks about loading the clicker, about clicking and then giving your dog a treat, and clicking and giving your dog a treat. But I found a book. It's written by somebody who breeds bull terriers, but she trains and breeds. But she actually is the first person who actually gave me parameters for how to really load the clicker. Like everybody else was just like, oh, just do it, blah blah, and they didn't tell you how long or for what. But she's like, here's what you're going to do. You're going to load the quick clicker twice a day, and you're going to do it 20 times each time. So cut up 20 small treats and just essentially have your dog just be around you and just click and instantly give them a treat. You must give them the treat within half a second. So be ready to just stuff it in their mouth the minute you click, the second you click. And do that 20 times, and then do it twice a day, and do it for 3 days. Kiki was so much more responsive to the clicker after that. Like this is the first time this is the proper way to load a clicker. So, because you have to do it enough times, and you have to do it at different times of day, and you have to do it for days in a row. But after that, your dog should know what the clicker means. It should be in there. Yeah, well, that's what I was saying, Dogfather, to work with him close to you. Like, even if they have a thing they call box work, where you just set up an X pen or a couple of X pens and you work with your dog in that area. That way your dog has a limited amount of distraction he can get to, and it makes sure that he's close to you. It makes you kind of the most interesting thing, honestly. But it helps you to not have to worry about that, right? Because yeah, if your dog has a full run of a big yard, he's going to be wandering off doing whatever. He's not going to want to do that. It's dogly things, right? Especially if he's not used to working with you like that. I mean, the other option is to put him on a leash, right? But I don't know how often you work with your dogs on leash, or if putting him on the leash is more of a pain than it's worth, For Kiki, up till recently it was, but now she's gotten much better because we've persisted with it, right? We weren't going to let her off the hook. Yes, and there are dogs like that too. You have to make it worth their while. It is actually a Catfolk Mage, but I decided to paint him as a necromancer. Yes, Nagoya Joe. Yeah, so then you definitely want to work with him in a very short area, in a small area, Dogfather. Like I said, you might want to do it in the garage, or if you have a smaller area. You could do it inside for the most part, if you can get him in a room apart from your other dogs. And, I mean, training is also going to make him bond to you tighter, right? So it's definitely fulfilling. I keep telling David that. That's what, he's like, why does Kiki always go to you, when I let her in, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, because I train her, and if you train her, then she's going to bond to you, closer. You are late to the party, but you missed a whole bunch of dog talk, Miss Imp. I'm sure you're fine. We're talking about high arousal dogs and what they call box work, trying to train training in a smaller area so that your dog is close to you for the initial stages of training, so that it's easier for them to get it. Because you want your dog to succeed. Think about it like Matt Mercer runs D&D games. You want your dog to be the hero, right? And so set your dog up to succeed from the beginning. I just made a D&D and dog training analogy. Oh my god, I'm such a nerd. On both counts. 30-inch lead for Malcolm. Yeah, and you have a half acre. Yeah, see, I'm using a 4-foot lead. I got a 48-inch. And that's just the lead that I always use. But it's true. Because your dog might be a real pain in the ass, right? But you want your dog to succeed, right? You want a well-trained dog that you're proud of, that works with you, that loves you, and that you have a real bond with. And so it's like that. You want your dog to be the hero. But your dog has no idea what's coming, so you've got to kind of set it up for them. You've got to not set them up to fail. So see, we have a very small yard, but there's plenty of distractions because squirrels are running in the trees overhead and all of that. So I do some training with Kiki indoors and outdoors. And when she's outdoors, I try to do it when she's on the patio with her water dish, where she's near to me, and she wants the water dish, so she's going to stay near to me. Yes, exactly, Carnico. But yeah, I think it's so easy. I mean, I know this from experience because I would get very, very frustrated and still do with Kiki on occasion because she is just so over the top so quickly. But you've got to just remind yourself, you know, this is my dog who I love and I really want to have a great relationship with her. And so I'm going to try to slow it down and give her a format that she can really succeed in, right? It's like if every teacher in your school when you were a little kid figured out how you specifically clicked and made an effort to make the school environment work for you and give you every effort to succeed, right? Instead of making you as a little kid conform to the school environment, which may not be the way for you to succeed. It's like that. It's that mindset. It's that mindset flip. Oh yeah, we have a big chicken hawk that swooped right over our yard the other day because there are so many rodents and everything around here. There's actually a fair amount of wildlife in these old yards and tons of vegetation for it to hide in. With a lot of these yards that have been around for since the 50s, a lot of big trees, bushes, shrubbery. We have raccoons, we have possum, we have rats and mice and squirrels. Oh my. And skunks. We have all sorts of stuff out here. But yeah, so I think that's the biggest, my biggest thing is now that I just have one dog. Because when I had 4, it was, oh my gosh, it was so hard. It was good that Blazy was a perfect puppy because, man, I don't know if I could have handled anything else. But it's easier for me to kind of reset my brain to go, no, I need to make sure that, not to get frustrated with my dog, I need to figure out how I can set her up to succeed and then work from there. I think I have. Yeah, I have a video to watch, or I would just read through quick. All right, so that's looking pretty good, guys. That's looking pretty good. Now, it's pretty bland, so I'm going to add some other colors onto these stones, but I'm going to get the kitty up front first. So again, I'm using stone gray. I mostly used a mixture of brown liner and stone gray to set up this stone. And then I'm using stone gray mixed with cairn stone, which is a Pathfinder color, which I really like. It's a very granite, good for granite. Yellowish gray. And mixing those two to just get some different levels. And then I'm using a mixture of brown liner and stone gray to go back and accentuate cracks and things that I want to be darker. As you all know, I love painting rocks, so. But yeah, I have some hope for Kiki. I mean, she's still improving. I'm trying to decide if I want to stop our finish out our classes at this one training place and maybe look for. Now I could look for something closer that might be different. I kind of want to do. She's really nose oriented, and that's got to be coming from the poodle and the Wetterhound, especially, I suspect, in her lineage. But I think maybe I could do scent work with her, like search work and stuff. That could be fun. I've never had a dog I could do scent work with before. Her brother just started. Oh, I should show you Kiki's brother. He's so cute. His ears are definitely not going up. They're going to try to brace them. But he's such a sweetie. Oh, there we go. This is Grog. he's gone really red. That's her two other Shilohs. This is Chassis, and I forget what the big boy's name is. Sunny maybe, but so it's Chassis and Sunny, and then there's Grog, and yeah, they're trying to brace the ears a little bit. His ears are just so big and floppy. I love how red he is though. He's just got that really really red coat going on. I love it. But yeah, that's Grog, and he's really got really light eyes. Like he's got. Let me see if I can find the picture there. Look at how light that eye is. He's got golden eyes. I love that. Our Shilohs have all the different eye colors. We have really dark brown, and then we got amber like Kiki's got, and then this light gold. Yeah, he's a sable like Keekster is, but he's not as dark in the face as she is. So yeah. And then I think there was also a picture of one of her other brothers. There we go. I think is it Lance? It's Bucky. Bucky, blue boy. Next to his Labrador friend. You can see he's already bigger. He's already bigger. So, yeah. They're growing up. That's one of the solid black boys. I think we might have... I don't know. I think that's all I can get to really fast. But yeah, so there you go. Puppy pictures. Puppy pictures. Yep. Yeah, they are getting big. I didn't ask Shani how much Grog weighs. I should. His new name is Banyan. I should call him I should call him by his new name. I think I'm gonna put some shadows around Kitty here before I start the highlights. But yeah, Keekster's pretty big. She's a chonk, man. Keekster has got the wide load. She takes after that Wetterhound ancestor. They are wide little chunky dogs. Keekster is like solid, not skinny, not a skinny mini for sure. All right, I'm gonna paint in some of the shadows here with brown liner and stone gray. I want to kind of get around some of these stones as they're sculpted. It's going to give me a little more contrast. My base coat got a little light out here, so I want to bring in some shadows. We'll bring in some shadows around under the kitty. And apparently, in Kiki's litter, I think that Bridget said that like 2 or 3 puppies have their ears up. I think 3, including Kiki. And then there's another 2 that have only 1 ear up. And then the Banyan is the one with, he had the most huge ears. I mean, Shady looked at him at the litter evaluation, and she's like handling his ears, and she's like, there is no cartilage in there. This dog is not going to have standing ears. But she took him anyway. He was a big sweetie. He had a lot lower energy than Keekster, though. So just getting a lot of darks put in. So that gives us something to work up from. And I'm just really doing a big, bold, kind of a wet blend stipple to it. I had hoped that the rain would be a little lighter when I went to take Keeker for a walk, but it has half an hour to let up a little bit. But yeah, they're attractive dogs. Like, I think everybody is pleasantly surprised at how Shiloh-like they look. And soon we will be starting health testing. In another month, Kiki will be wearing a Holter monitor for a couple days, which is a heart EKG monitor. And it's to detect for a disease in our breed that's a lethal arrhythmia disorder that we're really fighting. So that'll be fun, getting her to not chew the wires on that for 2 days. I just have my fingers crossed pretty much. Alrighty, got little shadows around all the little paws here. Alright, and I think that's pretty good. I think it's dark enough now that I can bring back some lights and get some details sketched in on this. There we go, get that brought up. Again, just some stippling. Gonna leave an area of darker shadow under the skelly cat, even though he still would block the light. He just wouldn't block the light very much. So I'll kind of like look at him from above and kind of block in, stipple in some areas around where he is, but leave the area directly under him a little darker. Yeah, today should be a fun Mama Gets Soaked in the Rain with Kiki walk. Hello, Ultra Squid. Yeah, I want to take Kiki to nationals next year. So that her owner, her breeder, can see her rather. So getting that from above, just kind of looking down. We've got much more broken flagstones up here and much more rough stony ground down where the kidde is. A little bit different texture down there. I finished my National Novel Writing Month yesterday. I won, did my 50,000 words. Now I'm on to my December goal, which is 30,000 words. I'm editing book 2 and doing a lot of rewriting. It's a lot slower going. It's my 7th time finishing NaNoWriMo. Yeah. And I scared myself this morning when I realized that, like, in, like, probably two or 3 months, my book will be published. I will publish my book. My first book will be out in the world. Probably not selling. As most books don't. But we'll put it out there anyway, by golly. And maybe we'll get some fans. Still, it's a scary thing. When it's a dream you've had since you were tiny, you know, like I've wanted to be a writer. I think when I was 9 was when I realized that people wrote books and that I could do it. And so I started trying to write. So it's been a very long time, long dream to see my book, to see a book in print by me. Yes, it's very scary, but I have to contact, I have on my to-do list to contact my cover artist and just touch base with her and see if we're on schedule and to get her, like, stuff like the text that goes on the back of the book and things like that. Yeah. It's kind of crazy. And since I'm indie publishing, I have to do it myself, so I also have to, like, download a program and learn how to lay out my book and crap like that. It's almost time for that. It's almost time for that part. The non-creative part of being an author, which is still work. Need to learn the layout and how to interact with the Amazon interface and all the settings I need to do and all that. I would have to become a very, very big author indeed, Kerniko, to forget my painting students. I ain't quitting. I'm not a quit your day job author. I've already quit my day job, and I haven't really. I'm still here part time. But yes, if I started making a ton of money with my books, then I would probably stop doing this stream, and I would schedule I wouldn't stop doing it. I would schedule it for one day, like Rhonda and Proctor do. That way, it would still be on. It just wouldn't be every day, because I definitely do get a lot more done on my writing in the mornings when I can write in the mornings. So if my books do well, then I would be tempted to downsize the number of days I streamed. Yeah, just a lot of stippling. Just boop, 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 boop. Lots of dots. Boop, 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 boop. Smudges. Lots of smudges. Boop, 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 boop. Just like that sound effect. Yeah. Good. Yeah, I'll let you guys know. I'll probably give it a couple weeks to just kind of sit there and accumulate, you know, views. But, or I'll just tell you guys. The thing is that you want Amazon to figure out, like, the kind of people to show your book to. So you don't necessarily want everybody buying your book. You really want people who read this sort of thing to buy your book. So if any of you love reading, like, fairy tale fantasy or, you know, young adult fantasy or any of that, if you already read that, then absolutely, like, buy the book. Like, I can tell you to buy the, you know, I can show it to you and you can decide whether to buy it. But if you don't normally read that sort of thing, then I would ask that you hold off on, much as I love you supporting me, but that you hold off for a little while and give Amazon's algorithms the chance to do their magic. Because Amazon gets really confused when a bunch of random people with random interests buy your book. Yes, good. Well then, hopefully you will like it, Crawley. You will see whether or not I can actually write. Although I have it on pretty good authority that I can, so I'm pretty happy. Actually, I'm really happy with how the first book turned out. It is the book I wanted to write, and I think that it's a rare time you can say that as an author. All right, so I'm going to hold off the tombstone. I'm going to do some colors on the rocks here just to make them look a little bit more interesting. I want, should we use swamp green? Swamp green is canceled, but it's what I used to use all the time. It's a really dark, beautiful olive color. This is lovely for just suggesting things like mosses and just like mold growing on places. If you don't have it, there are some good olives that you could play with. You could probably use a mixture of troll hide and brown liner if you've got the Dungeon Dwellers Fast palette. Too many boops. Too many boops for small cat. So let's do that. Let's grab our troll hide and, but any olive, like muddy olive plus a little bit of brown liner, just darken it just a little bit. Because you kind of want to use it in the cracks in places and you don't want to lighten those up. Oh, I totally need to get my pokey tool. Oh, first use. First use of the dragon-headed pokey tool. Let's use it. Let's go. Let's go, dragon. Dragon-headed pokey tool says, I have not rubbed off yet. One use and not rubbed off. It is more ergonomic. It's very, it feels different. All right, now we can get some of this olive out. And you can just add black to an olive green and you will, I mean, you'll, adding black is how you make an olive green. I did a whole stream on this, I remember, a long time ago. So I will do that actually. I'll add some dragon black. Just one drop probably. Darken it down a bit. But yeah, I mean, that's why the liner colors also work for darkening it down, is that you're just looking for a paint with a lot of black in it because it's going to just make your olive green shift to a darker green. So after a drop of black, I've got a much darker green than my starting troll hide. And this is probably close to, let me see if this is close to swamp. Looks like it's close to swamp. I'm totally going to need a pokey tool this gun. It's been ages because I don't use it because it's canceled and I don't want you guys to be sad. Let's put a drop of swamp up here. It's close. Swamp is just a little bit bluer, but it's really close, so it'll work. So good. So like 4 drops of troll hide and 1 drop of black gets you really close to swamp green. All right, so now let's take this swamp green and let's utilize it. So I got some stuff on my plate I need to get out of the way here. There we go. A little better. And I think I want, yeah, I'm still going to use a small brush for this because I want to get it in the cracks and stuff. So you also probably want to make a glaze with this, because you might want to, and I usually go with a thicker glaze this time. It's almost a wash. Because you may want to just paint it over areas to suggest plant growth. It's like down here. Like that. Kind of paint it close to the overhang here because there's probably moisture. You might want to even paint it over some of your browns a bit. But adding that hint of green, as you can see, it makes it a lot more organic feeling. And I can go heavier with it if I want and stipple it in where it's a lot more solid. And you can see how that's dried a lot lighter. But this is, of course, as I stippled it on full strength, you're getting a lot more of the green here. But yeah, I've got so much to do before I publish the book. Like, I need to get my website all finally finished because I'll finally have cover art so I can make my website actually look a little bit better and put the book up on it. And I need to reread all the stuff about how to do like universal links and I need to do my front and back matter for the book, and man, this is a lot of work, guys. This is why I like tried to get an agent, because much as the indie publishing thing actually probably appeals to me a little bit more, so much work. I have so many things I have to learn to do. I could pay somebody to do it, but then I wouldn't have control over it, and I kind of want to have control over it. So I have a lot of adult learning coming up. So many things. So yeah, so getting that green in there, you can see that like gives it a nice, very mossy feel to it. If you want to double down on that, you could get a lighter moss color like Grave Gloom or something, and you could stipple that over this. Actually, let me see. I had my Grave Gloom living out on my desk for a while, but I don't know where it ran off. I might have actually found it at home in my box. No, that's too bright. No, that's too dim. That's Leaf Bud. Well, Leaf Bud's not bad. I wonder where my Grave Gloom went. Now I'm kind of sad. My Grave Gloom has gone missing. Very sad about it. And I like Grave Gloom for this. That's Boggart Green. That's too light. It's around here somewhere. Dang it. It probably fell on the floor and I didn't notice. We'll use Leaf Bud, and I'll put some olive in it. Leaf Bud's kind of close to Grave Gloom. It's not as olivey, but it's in the right light or dark section. Man, the rain. Extra might have to wait for her walk. Oh yeah, it's not tapering off in the next hour, folks. Keekster may have to wait. I may have to give her a snuffle mat instead. Alright, so I'm going to put a little olive in this. There we go. And I'm actually going to add a little bit of my cairnstone as well. Kind of back and forth until I mute out this color just a little bit. That's getting very close to Grave Gloom. Alright. Yeah, we haven't had any leaks in this. This house's roof is relatively new. We shall see. Alright, so then, once we've got that color, we can kind of apply it to the base here to make an appearance like lichen. And again, you're going to use stippling. You're going to stipple over the top, probably closest to where the back edge is. And just putting a little bit more actual color in here, you can see it there, so that your base looks like it's not just flat gray, right? That looks a lot more live, a lot more interesting than just flat gray. Yeah, I don't think Kiki and I are going to be taking our walk. We'll have to take it later in the afternoon when the rain is done. Because I don't mind walking in the rain, but the pouring rain, I have that I don't think I have equipment for that. So we can also take our kind of our wash and put it up here in the shadows. Any shadow areas or dips in your stone where water might pool are great places to pop some green. And in the cracks here, we could even pop some of the actual unthinned green. Yeah, Kiki doesn't have any rain gear because it's so rare here, right? We don't see rain that often. And I do have shoes that are waterproof, but I don't have and I do have a raincoat. Just bringing in some of that green up here. You can see that kind of just spreading through this whole area. See how these really look now like they've got algae and like slime growing on them compared to up here. Yeah, I mean, that was the nice thing about cats. You don't have to walk them, right? But I actually like to walk, and Kiki helps me get my steps every day, so. Pretty much I used to take a walk after lunch anyway, so now I'm just taking a walk with the dog after lunch. Or before lunch. So this is nice because then when you come in with grass and dead leaves, you already have a nice organic looking base here to attach that stuff to. Yes. Only one of my coats is waterproof. I know, Kernico, I know. Scotland has made you forget. I'll put a little bit of green up here too. So even little touches of other colors in the stones help to really give you a different feel, right? Like look at how kind of like stark and barren this looks next to this. And then it starts looking just really, really cool and organic. I'm going to put a lot of green down here into this back area because there'd be a lot of water pooling back there. And I'm going to put a little bit of like glazed green underneath the kitty. Bring it a little bit up to the front right there. Put there. There. So just these little touches, and then, you know. And it didn't take very long. And if I bury some of my highlights, then I'm just going to grab a little bit more of my Cairn Stone with a touch of Stone Gray. And, you know, bring a little bit more back in. Now, if I wanted to really warm up this composition, I would use some orange on the rocks. Orange and maybe yellow. But this is an undead piece, so I'm trying to keep it cold. Yep, have fun, Crowley. I love warm rain. We used to get warm rain in Texas sometimes. It's my favorite. And in Wisconsin, we get summer thunderstorms. Let's get some of that green, lighter green, stippled down into that crack. That's where Kiki's brother, Grog, lives. Banyan. He lives in Florida. All right. Getting a little bit more of the light green stippled in here and there. And at this scale, like at bigger scale, when you're doing 54, 70, 75 type stuff, 120, then you could use actual, like, you know, textured like flocking and stuff to give moss texture. But at this scale, the stippling is really enough, to be honest. So we're making this feel nice and swampy and overgrown. I think I want to get a little bit of highlighting over here on this little protuberance here. Alrighty. And then we need more green over here. I'm going to stipple it up onto the base of the tombstone and down onto the rock in the front. And a little bit up the front. Yeah, definitely rainy today. I don't know, maybe I'll try to take Keekster for a walk. I'll have to see how it actually feels when I take her out. Too much high. Too high. Yeah, that is not this rain. This rain I can still see through. It's just heavy for our area. And just kind of doubling down on the green here on the base, especially focusing on the cracks and the places where it would build up. Oh, the Keekster is awake again. I can hear her squeaking her little penguin toy. Alright, so we're just building this up a little bit more and then we'll call it here. Oh, we're getting there. Like, it'll be just, we'll have to do some greens on the back, and tombstone-y stuff. A little bit more tombstone-y stuff. Hello, Ice Tiffany. Thank you for the tiny raid. We were just doing some green washes, stippling and painting to make the bottom of our base look more like kind of like overgrown and, you know, full of lichen and in a damp graveyard kind of feel. And yeah, we're actually close to the end of my stream though. But those of you who came in, like, if you have any questions, I paint every morning for Reaper Miniatures on this channel. We do a different model every day. We have a 6-model rotation. Tomorrow, oh hey, tomorrow we're back to Sophie, the adventurer. So we just started this one. And we're going to be working on her tomorrow morning. Oh, you love the base things? Yeah, so we're going to be working on Sophie, who is Succubus. She's Reaper's mascot. And I've just started going to be doing skin tones tomorrow. So do be skin on her wings and the skin on her face. Yeah, I did the base myself. I use a lot of cork. So cork, and I sculpted a lot of the flagstones and stuff. So we have all of these streams. Oh, sorry, my puppy is barking. All these streams go on VODs and then to Reaper's YouTube, so Reaper Miniatures on YouTube, so you can actually watch how we do the bases and stuff like that. All quiet. I'm almost done. She's so silly. But yeah, so it's mostly cork with some green stuff, and I integrated the Skeletal Kitty's base into it. Just his base and actually the Cat Mage's base is both. They're both integrated with green stuff. Just sculpted around them and over them a bit so that they would blend in. But yeah, this is the cork, and then I've like sculpted some stuff and torn it up a lot and did that stuff. Yes. Well, she's been waiting. I've been doing this stream for like an hour and a half. So yes, puppy definitely needs attention. Oh, no Reaper Live tonight. Yeah, so I figured. And Crafty Creative will be on. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll be back with Sophie. We'll be doing skin tones tomorrow. And I'm going to drop the Kide. But Kide Mage is definitely, the base looks a lot closer to done. So we'll be adding some grass and dead leaves and continuing with our green coloration around the back. And we're going to finish the tombstone. And then the kitty himself, the little tiny undead kitty, will be the last thing we do, I think. My back gets sore. Yeah, I do stretches a lot, Tiffany. I have to do yoga every morning so that I can function. But my hands are pretty good because I do a lot of stretching, and I do a lot of just exercises to kind of realign like my shoulders and stuff, and that helps with hand and wrist pain. Uh-oh. Puppy is very, very sulky now. But yeah, I think a lot of painters get like neck pain, shoulder pain, and back pain. Unfortunately, it's something we run into in this hobby. But yeah. So yeah, good luck with your Twitch stuff too, Tiffany. And thanks for rating us. It was nice to meet you. And I'll just pop out, guys. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning, Friday morning. Ooh, it's already the end of the week. I'm so excited. And I'm going to go and take my puppy out. All right. Thanks, everybody. Have a great day.